Welcome back to the X Corner. Still adding a little mutation to the superhero crew. I'll be covering the X comics for the week of December 20th, 2017 this time. This week we have 5 comics. Deadpool vs. Old Man Logan number 3, Generation X number 85, Old Man Logan number 32, XMen Gold number 18, and X-Men Grand Design number 1. Spoilers, of course. We'll start with Deadpool vs. Old Man Logan number 3. The writer is Declan Shalvey, and the penciler is Mike Henderson. This miniseries finds erstwhile buds Deadpool and Old Man Logan trying to save a young mutant girl from the clutches of some shadowy corporation, who are trying to weaponize the girl's powers. The two are promptly captured in this issue, and Logan is being tortured by an evil scientist. Somehow Deadpool shows up with Wolverine's claws at the end. This series is just serious enough to be good without the over-the-topness of Deadpool's usual comics. Humor is mixed in well with the action, and the buddy cop feel of Deadpool and Logan is, and has always been, very good. Wolverine even slices out Wade's vocal cords at one point to shut him up, and there's also a great joke of Logan smelling sweaty chicken or a giant moist band-aid, only to realize it was Deadpool's face. Great highbrow stuff. And although this series has been fun, the art doesn't blow me away. It's serviceable, but a little simple. I'm glad it's only a 5-parter, because eventually the shine of Deadpool and Logan's hate for each other would rub off. But for now, good clean fun. And fart jokes. Rating 7 out of 10. Next we have Generation X number 85. The writer is Christina Strain, and the penciler is Amilcar Pina. This issue is the beginning of a new arc called Survival of the Fittest, but mostly it is just a teen drama that takes place in the X School. That isn't to say it isn't fun though. There are romantic troubles for each of the teachers and students alike, and Quentin Quires run off with Ascension Island to sulk because he doesn't think anyone likes him. Oh, and Monet, who is possessed by her dead vampiric brother, attacks the school. This comic reminds me of the heyday of the Wolverine and the X-Men run by Jason Aaron, where the new students are introduced and fleshed out, and I hope the new ones here, such as Benjamin and Nathaniel, last the test of time. Unfortunately, this series is one of many that Marvel has just cancelled, so let's hope they lay it on their feet elsewhere. The only real downside I have with this comic is the art. It looks so warped and creepy to me that I feel like I'm in some terrible dream. Characters have weird lips and eyes and overall look to me that it just isn't good. It isn't enough to make me dislike the book, but it is enough for this book not to become a classic, like that Wolverine and X-Men series was. So I have to give it a rating of 7 out of 10 only because that art turns me off so bad. Then we have Old Man Logan, number 32. Writer Ed Brisson and penciler Mike Deodato. And in this one, in a return to a classic theme for Old Man Logan, he finds himself back in Japan. There's a new drug on the street which allows people to regenerate from anything. Of course, Logan's most hated bunch of ninjas, the Hand, have it, and the leader of the Hand finds out Logan is back and sends his immortal ninjas after him, along with his newest resurrected soldier, the Scarlet Samurai. Logan gets his hand cut off by her, and she is revealed to be his long-dead love, Marika Yoshida. The art in this issue is gorgeous. It's an old manga feel that fits perfectly with the story. There is a panel of Logan standing ready to fight the Hand, which is one of the best shots of Old Man Logan I've ever seen. The story here is just okay though. The reveal of Mariko being the Scarlet Samurai was obvious, so that was not that shocking. You do come to this comic for the art, not the story though. 8 out of 10, and if the story was better, this would have been an amazing comic, but as it is, it's just a great comic. Next is XMen Gold number 18. Writer Mike Guggenheim, penciler Ken Lashley. In the third part of the Negative Zone War, we get the first comic that I've reviewed before, a good old bi-weekly shipping, and the X-Men Gold team is in limbo, and last issue we had Nightcrawler impaled on a statue. Now we find out that he was either A, able to keep teleporting away before he was really impaled, or B, immortal. I hope it's A. Anyway, the team make a deal to get the captured teammates back from the bad guys, but Nightcrawler's in there, so a fight breaks out, and the X-Men seem to be winning before an ancient god wakes up and looks like he wants to kick everyone's asses. Another solid issue for the Gold team. Really just a big fight, but everyone got to use their powers, and their dialogue progressed the characters a bit. I'm really liking the character Vink. He's a relatively newish character who gains powers determined by the tattoos he has. He gets blasted to reveal he's acquired quite a few new ones, including healing and eye beams, which make him pretty powerful. I don't think we'll see him survive long because of that, though. And there's not much to dislike here either. Solid story and art is all I want, and Guggenheim and Lashley are delivering. 8 out of 10. Lastly, we have X-Men Grand Design #1, and this one's written and penciled by Ed Piskor. Ed Piskor is an Eisner Award-winning artist who has been tasked with retelling and cleaning up the X-Men's history for new readers. And he goes back way before the X-Men began to explain the origins of mutants, as well as why they're hated and feared. And it seems like in a comic from 1941, the Submariner, who was a mutant, flooded Manhattan and killed thousands of people. Who knew? From there, the story progresses through Xavier and Magneto's origins to the founding of the original X-Men, as told in their classic stories. He also weaves in later editions, such as Phoenix and Mr. Sinister, into the history. This one's a big, oversized issue, and it ends with the founding of the X-Men and promises to continue, so it'll be curious to see where it goes from here. The retelling of the X-Men's history in a clear narrative is a good idea, as many new readers find their history convoluted. But it isn't this history that is that bad, so I'll be curious how he deals with all the alternate futures and time travel, if he plans to go that far. Those are the confusing stories. I was amazed how much new information even I got out of this story, which was a pleasant surprise. Also in the back of the book we have a list of all the contributors to the X-Men over the years, and an appendix detailing where he got all this information, and I thought that was a nice touch. Piskor's art, however, is something that most people, including myself, might find jarring. He is a alternative cartoonist in the Crumb style, which is a strange choice for this book, but it does give a Golden Age feel to the stories that somehow works. He also takes some liberties with the retelling, by combining and tying storylines together that make everything in the X-Men's past connected, which is a little too much for me. For instance, he has Jean Grey's psychic emergence attract the Phoenix, who is then responsible for the Shi'ar sending a craft to Earth that ends up causing the crash where Scott and Alex Summers were separated from their parents. And it's a clean way to intertwine everything, but it really takes it to a ridiculous level. Overall, it was a good read, and I'm curious to keep the history lessons going. But I kind of see it as a fairy tale of what happened more than a true telling. 7 out of 10. Well, that wraps up this week's X Corner. Next week is Christmas, or I don't know if there's any comics coming out next week, but if there is, I'll cover them. And it might be just one issue, it might be a quick one. Everyone have a happy holidays, and I'll see you in the new year.